For most people, Talacre is nothing more complicated than a stretch of golden sand and wind-blown dunes, the sort of place where families haul coolers across the beach and children race toward the sea with buckets and sunburnt shoulders. But for others, Talacre carries a different reputation entirely. It is a place where the boundary between the ordinary and the uncanny thins, just enough for something or someone to be seen. The lighthouse itself has stood there since 1776, its white tower angled slightly by the years, like an old sailor leaning into the wind. Long after its light was extinguished in 1883, it still commanded attention, a silent sentinel watching the gray waters between the Dee and the Mersey. Yet locals have always whispered that it is not entirely empty. They speak of him. The stories vary. Some say he wears a sailor's cap. Others insist he is dressed like a lighthouse keeper from centuries long gone. But nearly everyone agrees on one thing. The man is often seen standing on the balcony, staring out to sea, as if waiting for a ship that never returned. Years ago, a group of paranormal investigators claimed they made contact with a spirit named Raymond, a keeper who supposedly died of fever while tending the light. Whether or not this is true, the name stuck. Raymond, the Keeper of Talacre. In 2010, the lighthouse gained a new guardian of sorts, a 7-foot stainless steel sculpture perched on the balcony, glinting in the sun or looming in the dusk, depending on your perspective. The owner of the lighthouse said he installed it to honor the ghost, to give shape perhaps to the figure so many swore they had seen. I've spoken to people who witnessed strange things there, people not easily rattled, people with no reason to invent tales. One man told me he saw someone up in the tower one afternoon, a figure moving about as if repairing equipment. But when he and his friends reached the door, the padlock was still clamped shut, untouched. The man in the tower had vanished. Another described something far stranger, a single enormous footprint in the sand, heading toward the lighthouse, human-shaped but impossibly large, the kind of footprint you don't forget. As he and his companions stared at it, trying to understand what they were seeing, a thunderous bang slammed from inside the lighthouse door. They ran for the dunes, hearts pounding, and when they looked back, a torch beam flickered across the beach from the direction of the lighthouse, though no one could have been inside. 15 minutes later, when they returned with another witness, the footprint was gone. No tide had reached it, no wind had disturbed it. It had simply vanished. Talacre has thousands of stories like these, some whispered, some shouted, some written off as tricks of the light or tricks of the mind. But stand on that beach at dusk, really stand there, when the sky turns violet and the tide murmurs across the flats, and you begin to understand why the lighthouse has earned its reputation. You might feel watched. You might see a figure on the balcony, you might notice only the gulls and the sand. But the locals will tell you with a shrug and a knowing look, Raymond keeps his own hours.